I was thinking today about the Emperor Charlemagne because, why wouldn't you think about that in the middle of the day, right? Anyway, I was thinking about something in particular about Charlemagne, but first a little primer for those of you that don't know who Charlemagne was or what he did. Charlemagne was the first emperor to rule the West, Western Europe, since the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, excuse me. So he was the first guy to do that, and that was 300 years. I'm sorry, not 300, 3,000 years after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. And he was a pretty important guy. He did a lot of things, a lot of social and political things that changed all of Europe and therefore, much of the world later. He did those during his various reigns. Now, he didn't just get to be that important quickly. First he was the king of the Franks, then he was the king of the Lombards, and then finally he was the emperor of what is now regarded as the Carolingian Empire from 800 AD. And he held these titles, all these titles, simultaneously until his death in 814. Okay, so there's your primer. He was an exceptionally important person in history. Now, did he have fans? Oh man, did he have fans? He had very enthusiastic fans, a lot of devoted followers, a lot of people that thought he basically walked on water. And how this manifested itself, and this is what I was thinking about today. How this manifested itself is when Charlemagne died in 814 AD, the people that loved him so much, they clothed his body in his imperial robes. They suited him up nice. And then they placed it in a sitting position on the throne that he had used during his reign. And on his head, they put his crown. He had his royal scepter in his hand, and in his lap an open copy of his Bible. He was a deeply religious man. Okay, you got that so far? Well, his body stayed there for 400 years. So that's the crazy part of this whole monologue here. That his body stayed on that throne for 400 more years. Okay, so they walled it off. They made a vault and walled it off. But it was, he was sitting on that throne. He was sitting on the throne for 400 years. And so 2 centuries later, he was visited by a delegation. They opened the vault, and according to the people that were in the party, his body was uncorrupted. And that's a word they used to use, which means that it was not decayed at all, I guess because he was so pure of heart. And that's according to the eyewitnesses. Then 200 more years go by, the vaults, someone decides it's time to open up the vault, and again, and take the body off the throne. And so they did that, and it was placed in a gold and silver coffin, where it still remains. It's still there in the cathedral. His palace is now a cathedral. It's called the Aix la Chapelle Cathedral, and so it's still there. And you can visit it if you're in the area. They have tours. And so after they took him off the throne, after he was there for 400 years, then the marble throne then was used for another 300 years for, a succession of coronation ceremonies for a succession of German empires, the German Empire. German emperors, rather, emperors of the German Empire. And, pretty crazy, huh? 400 years. That's some serious fandom. They didn't want to let him go. 400 years.